Hey everybody, I'm Organic Galaxia here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad you're with me today. How you doing? I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, wonderful and safe, of course. I did, thank you. Just small family, no outside visitors, trying to listen to the advice and stay safe. Anyways, oh my goodness, so there's been some stuff in the news, right? So today's reading is going to be about Trump, of course, and Barr and pardons. A couple videos ago, I did a reading on Trump and pardons, and I got that he wasn't going to be pardoning anybody unless there was some money to be had, right? Unless they were willing to pay him. And that seems to have come to pass. It was certainly a surprise as everybody. Well, I don't know how surprised you can be with Trump shenanigans, but this pay for pardons, the pardon bribery scheme, the DOJ is investigating that. What's up with that? Barr, Trump, it's a mess. So I think it's pretty funny that, Barr came out and said that there was no election fraud. That was huge because, Trump and Barr have been in pretty tight lockstep most of this administration. There's been a few times that Barr didn't say what Trump wanted him to say. But for the most part, Barr supports Trump and is his loyal henchman. But when he came out and said there was no fraud in the election, that was a big deal. Now, I understand that a lot of DOJ employees, officers, official, what have you, some DOJ people under Barr wrote a letter to Barr telling him there's no election fraud. If you pursue this, you're bogus. And we know that in the past, a lot of DOJ people wrote a letter basically, throwing Barr under the bus and saying that this guy's breaking rules, right? And he's doing things that he shouldn't be doing, to put it kindly. So, I'm thinking that's part of the reason that Barr is saying there's no election fraud, because there's just too many people in DOJ that he would be going up against if he were to try and back that claim up for Trump. But no surprise, Trump is super pissed off about it, and he wants to fire Barr, or that's the talk, right? That he may fire Barr. And I think that this announcement of an investigation into the pardon for pay bribery scheme is a check on Trump. I think that's Barr checking Trump, saying, hey, I've got power too. And if you want to mess with me, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. That's what I think is happening. Excuse me. And so I think that's what's going on with Barr and Trump. I think Barr is checking Trump. You want to push back on this election thing or try and throw me under the bus? I've got your card, okay? So this is the arena that I'm reading in today. I want to take a look at a few questions. Let's see what I got written down here. So first, is Trump going to fire Barr? Well, we can take a quick look at that. I'll probably just take a general look at Barr as well to see kind of where he's at. And past the pardon, if I have time, I want to look at a couple. And finally, there's been a little talk about Iran, and will Trump maybe try and attack Iran before he walks out the door, create a little problem for Biden? Maybe we'll take a quick look at that too. So since I want to get to all of these things, let's get started shuffling the cards here. So, pardons. First, I just kind of want to take a look at Barr. Bill Barr, who's kind of out on the down low for a while there, and then he reemerges to say there's no election fraud. Okay. So let's look at Barr. Just show me, I want to see Barr, spirit in relation to the election and Barr's relationship with Trump, okay? Barr's relationship, current relationship with Trump. Where are they now? Barr and Trump. Bill Barr, Donald Trump spirit. What is that relationship right now? All right, let's take a look-see. Okay. All right. Barr and Trump. What is their relationship looking like? So we've got a Knight of Wands. Actually, let me take one moment to get into this energy here. So we're starting out here with the Knight of Wands. Okay, the Knight of Wands. And what this card is telling me is, I'm asking about Barr and Trump. And I feel like where they are at this time is at the close of their relationship. They're galloping into the final stretch, okay? There's change here and there's work here. And, I'm just getting the sense of this horse is in the horse race, the election. Trump is basically pretending that this horse race isn't over yet because there's still fraud for him to uncover, overturn the election. He really won this thing, right? We're in the home stretch of that bogus horse race. Barr is going to help this thing come to a close, okay? So, in other words, I think Barr just saying, no, there's no fraud is really what's going to just sort of close this thing down finally. This is really going to shut Trump down. He's really got nowhere else to go. His trying to get into the Supreme Court's just not happening. It's fallen out because none of those cases are moving forward. They're all being tossed. As he's been saying, FBI and DOJ was kind of his last hurrah on this, and it's not going to happen with Barr, much to Trump's surprise. Okay, so that horse race is coming to a close. What is the challenge, the energy working against them here is that sort of professional support. So, see that beautiful card? Where I'm going with this card here is that Bill Barr has so shattered his own reputation within the Department of Justice that his peers and his underlings and just his staff and all of those that work at the Department of Justice, they know who he is and they're keeping an eye on him, okay? So this is a challenge. Him working with others to build policy and legislation and so forth, or him working with others to do what Trump wants him to do, that is not working out for him, because those that he works with, those he needs to rely on to build the Department of Justice, they know exactly who he is and they're not really working with him. I mean, they're working with him as they need to, but they're not supporting all those shenanigans that he's done. As I mentioned before, people, the people in the Department of Justice have written letters against him, that his actions were unseemly. Even the Bar Association's calling for him to be disbarred. Okay, so his working relationships with those in the Department of Justice and others is his challenge because he's ruined his own reputation. In the sky above, this question is the Eight of Pentacles, work. Okay, this is working. And I think this is basically the question hanging in the air. Is Trump going to fire Barr? Is Barr going to be allowed to continue working, to continue collecting his own coins, to continue shining up Trump's coins? Or is he going to be fired? So this question is hanging in the air over these two. Will Barr continue to be able to work? What's foundational with the Moon card is that there's things happening that we can't see. There's deceits or shadow activity happening that's unclear. And this being in the foundational or often the subconscious realm, this might be Trump's confused nature. You know, he just doesn't have that grasp of reality. He's making it harder and harder and harder for Bill Barr to support him because he's just so much more delusional, so far from reality. You know, he's just really out there, and that becomes more and more difficult to support. And this being unconscious means that this is really taking a look at Trump's mental health and mental fitness right now. Okay, he's delusional, he's deceptive, he's doing things in the shadows. We don't know what's going. He's unpredictable. So the energy these two just came through with the Two of Pentacles here in this juggling act is this is, you know, Trump and Bill Barr continuing to circle each other. Barr's trying to support Trump, trying to support his master, trying to be the dutiful AG, but Trump keeps throwing him curveball after curveball, shenanigans after shenanigans. You know, he keeps asking Barr to take one step further in undermining the Department of Justice and supporting Trump, right? He just keeps giving Barr asking for Barr to keep on supporting him as that becomes more and more difficult because what he's requesting is just more and more out there. You know, whether it's trying to say that the election was fraudulent or, you know, and going backwards, right? Reducing Michael Flynn's sentence, creating investigations to look at the Mueller probe, looking at the FBI, all these things that Bill Barr has done for Donald Trump at Donald Trump's request. That's what this card is, constantly juggling the law and Trump, my reputation and Trump's crazy requests and what's legal. For Barr, this has always been a juggling act. He's always had to be very careful how he handles Trump and all Trump's requests. And, you know, he's supported a lot of it, but not all of it. All right. So he is, you know, he holds his own power in this relationship. So it's been a constant juggling act for Bill Barr to deal with Trump. So the energy that they're going to be going into here with the Chariot is that their relationship is and will continue to change very fast. There's a lot of things coming very, very quickly. Of course, we know the end of Trump's presidency is just right around the corner. The end of Bill Barr's reign at DOJ is right around the corner. But with the election fraud situation still really hot, and this pardon scheme that DOJ just announced they're investigating, that's really sped up the dynamics between these two men. It's really hastening the end, I think, of their relationship. But things are definitely changing. This Chariot indicates a battle of some kind, and it does portend victory. For which one? Couldn't say at this time. But things are changing very fast for those two men. I think kind of the face of their relationship with the World card is telling us, yes, the world is watching. Yes, what they're doing impacts this whole nation and the wider world. But this is also telling us that this cycle is coming to an end. this relationship is coming to an end. Their partnership, everything they're doing on the world stage, that dynasty, that era, that cycle is over, okay? This is an ending of a grand cycle, and it's allowing us to begin a new cycle, which we know we are with a new presidency, a new administration, right? So everything on the world stage is going to change now. Yes. And so this is the influence of those around them with the Hierophant card here is the government. Okay, this is the authoritative institution, whether it's church or government or your school or what have you. So this is the government. The government has the key to resolving all of these issues. So you have a president, you have your two parties, the three have to work together, and they hold the key to how to unlock, all those wonderful things about America, but it's like the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. This is the key to the country. This is how the country works. This is how we function right here. And the government, if it wants to survive, has to maintain its laws, its traditions, and its norms. So I think that as far as the influence of those around these two men, those in the government are calling for those norms and laws to be upheld, to be respected, and to still be a foundation for this country. So the functions of government are returning to play here with this card. So hopes and fears with the Two of Cups. Bring it back up. Okay. So with the Two of Cups, hopes and fears. So this would be their relationship, this Two of Cups. This is them. And you can see here how it's almost like a mirror image. They reflect each other. They're a mirror image of each other. They've been in lockstep, right? They've been in a tight relationship. Trump has really relied on Barr. Barr's really used Trump. So they have this relationship, okay? And I think, they're of one heart, I guess. And I think the hope and fear here is that this dynamic between the two of them is going to break. So Barr is going to have to remove himself from this partnership. That's my feeling, right? This is more of Barr cutting those ties and letting Trump drift out into nothingness as he will no longer be president. Because for Barr, it's all about the power of the presidency. And now we're going to have a new president. I doubt he's under any delusion that he's going to remain under Biden, but he's got to sever the partnership with Trump if he wants to proceed further in life at all, professionally. He has to sever that relationship with Trump. So I think this is that severing would be Barr's hope and Trump's fear. Trump wants to keep that grip on any relationship he has with anybody who's powerful who can continue to work for him. So I think that we're looking at the severing of that relationship, which was bound to happen, of course, because Trump lost the election. But I think Barr really understands now that he's got to really break that tie, break that relationship if he wants to move forward. So for our outcome, we're looking at a Nine of Wands. And this is just telling us that we are just shy of the end, okay? The Nine of Wands, just shy of the completion of the cycle, which is 10. So this crow's got one more wand to lift and put in order before he's done. So I'm getting the feeling here that this is one last request of Trump for Barr to do something for him, or one more favor that Barr is going to do for Trump before he's done. So I think with the election fraud, that's already, you know, Barr said no, that's not going anywhere. But when it comes to pardons, there might be something that Barr can still do for Trump. There might be something Trump will ask Barr to do. There's one more deed, okay? There's one more deed before this is all said and done and it's the close of their cycle. So that's what I'm getting for the general relationship between Barr and Trump. It's coming to an end, inevitably. But because Trump is not going to be respected and, you know, he's not going to go down very well in the history books, it's not going to suit Barr well to continue to be tied to him in friendship and duty, okay? It's just, he's going to have to sever those ties if he wants to do anything to save his reputation. I don't see that he has much of a reputation to save, but I'm guessing Barr doesn't know that. All right. So the next thing I want to take a look at is, let's see, do I want to do part? Let's do the, will Trump fire Barr? Will Trump fire Barr? The reading I just did indicated that Trump might want Barr to do one more thing for him, okay? But will Trump end up firing Barr because he's so mad? Because he wouldn't jump on that election fraud bandwagon. He wouldn't jump on the election fraud bandwagon, and now Trump is super mad. Is he going to fire Barr weeks before the end of his term? I mean, it doesn't make any sense governmentally to get a new AG in there for a few weeks. But, you know, Trump's crazy, so it's all about revenge. He's vindictive. He likes to fire. That's what it's all about here. Come on, cards. Is Trump going to fire Barr? You know, it's like he wants to, but everyone's telling him not to. It's so close to the end. Should he just let him sit there? Or is he going to let that vindictiveness control him? You know, is he going to let his emotions control him and fire him just out of anger and spite? Or, you know, just take the advice and let him just finish out the term and call it a days. Not one foot out the door anyway, right? Is Trump going to fire Barr? All right, is Trump going to fire Barr? Okay. So we have got the 10 of Wands. So Barr's carrying a heavy burden. Okay. Sorry, just one moment. So with this 10 of Wands, they're carrying a heavy burden, okay? One or the other, both of them, you could say the same thing for both. Each one is carrying a very heavy burden. And, you know, they're each dealing with a tower moment. So everything's coming to an end, right? Everything's crashing down. Foundation's out from under them. Huge mess. And we're ending with the Eight of Swords, okay? So constriction, red tape, possibly incarceration. But right now I'll go for red tape. So each card in and of itself, I would say, is a no card. And I think there's just too much happening too fast, and it's too close to the end of the term for Trump to be firing Barr. I feel, yeah, he might really, really want to. You know, I'm getting a sense here of Barr has got documents, okay? Barr can leave with a lot of information, a lot of secrets, a lot of documents. I think that this is a danger to Trump, okay? Barr has access to the shadow information. He knows a lot. Trump knows he knows a lot. And it's a burden for Barr, and it's also a burden for Trump. And if Trump steps out of line, a lot of this information can get out, okay? So, like I was saying earlier, Barr has his own power. And I think multiple times over Trump's administration, he's let Trump know, yeah, I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm your henchman. Yeah, I think the executive has all the power. But you mess with me, I've got power too, okay? And I think that's what this card is telling us here. Regardless, though, this is the collapse of Trump's presidency, the collapse of everything. It's his tower moment. It's over, right? Everything is crumbling down for Trump. And for Barr, it's probably his tower moment too. His reputation is shot. The Bar Association called for him to be disbarred. He's got all these letters, basically questioning his leadership. He's going through, I would say, a lesser tower moment with Trump, but this is happening to both of them. This is the whole administration. And in the end, we've got constriction, self-constriction, being tied up, being could be confined. Thing is, which one is it, right? Because if this is Trump, then he's going to be so caught up in his illegalities, in red tape, in everything that Barr has to say about him. He really could be facing legal jeopardy, which we all know, right? He's facing indictments. As soon as he steps out of office, he's facing indictments. SDNY is ready to go. People are ready to go. They're just waiting for January 21st to get them. All right, people are out for Trump, no question about it. If this is Barr, I would say this looks like the end of his career, that everything that he's done, that he has wrapped himself up in a situation that he can't undo. That he's going to be constricted. He won't maybe be able to practice law anymore. He'll be, he'll have to refrain from work, just being tied up, that he can't move. He can't function. So for either of these men, they're looking at a bad outcome. But the question, will Trump fire Barr? These cards are telling me no, that he won't, because it would be too dangerous. It would be too dangerous for Trump to do that. As much as he might want to, Barr's got too much information over him. There's documents. He just still has power over Trump. It would be very dangerous for Trump to do that. Okay. So let's take a little bit deeper look into this pardon scheme. Okay, the pardon scheme. Spirit, the pay for pardon scheme. So I guess the whole idea was that whoever's interested in a pardon would donate to Trump's PACs, and the money would be funneled that way, and then Trump would grant pardons. Possibly preemptive pardons. I don't think Trump really knows how this pardon process is supposed to work, but then he's great at breaking norms. For example, you can't accept a pardon unless you admit to the crime. You have to say, yes, I'm guilty of this crime in order to receive a pardon. Not sure if Trump realizes that if he tries to pardon his kids, they would have to confess as guilty to crime in order to receive that pardon. But then again, I can see Trump just breaking right through that law. The other thing is anybody who gets a pardon can't use the Fifth Amendment to protect themselves because they're no longer in legal jeopardy. Does Trump understand that? If he pardons his kids, they will no longer be able to declare the Fifth Amendment and not speak, not incriminate themselves. Okay, so pay for pardons. Pay for pardons. We want to take a look at this. Is this a thing? Is this real? What is this pay for pardon thing? All right. Pay for pardons. Pay for pardons. All right, you guys, I'm going to do a what the fuck spread on this, because what the F? All right, so what's going on here? What's the what? Judgment and a Nine of Wands. Okay, so the Judgment to me, that's the pardon. This is Trump making a judgment on these people. You shall be pardoned, okay? And with the Nine of Wands here, the Nine of Wands, he's almost done. There's a little bit more work to do. Let's get back to that in a moment. Okay, everybody, sorry about that. I just wanted to get into this energy, see if I could read it a little clearer. So again, I mentioned the Judgment. I think those are the pardons, okay? With the Nine of Wands, the feeling I'm getting here is that Trump was just waiting for the money to come in. He was waiting for the logistics. So if someone wanted a pardon, right, they'd have to make a donation to a PAC, but they'd also have to communicate to somebody, letting them know, hey, I want a pardon over here. Indicate that this is a request for a pardon. So I think that there's steps that had to be taken. Money had to be paid. Certain people had to be notified. It had to kind of go up the chain to Trump. And then, of course, for him to decide if he wanted to do this or not. So this is what I'm getting here. He is basically just waiting for all the steps to be taken, waiting for the request to be made. And he was almost done. He was probably getting close to actually throwing some pardons out there, but he wasn't quite done, right? Something about it wasn't quite complete. So it hadn't happened yet. As we know, yeah, he pardoned Flynn. We kind of knew that was coming. But I think he got stopped just shy of the end. Okay? So what do we actually know about this situation is that Trump feels betrayed. He's hurt, angry, betrayed at Barr, basically telling the world that DOJ is investigating this bribery scheme. So he's hot. We know this, right? He feels betrayed, stabbed in the heart by Barr. what is wrong about this situation? This is the fudge card here with the Seven of Wands. What's wrong with this situation are all the fraudulent pardons that could have happened, might still happen. You can see there's a lot of, well, not a lot, I will say there's several people here who are interested in this scheme, you know, who were giving out the money, who wanted their pardon, you know. That's what's messed up about the situation, is the miscarriage of justice. These people would have gotten pardons or might still get pardons for their illegal behavior, that they won't be held account, right? They won't be charged or investigated or what have you. Now, keeping in mind, pardons are just federal, they're not state, but you know, basically this card is saying, okay, here's Ivanka and Don Jr. and Eric and Flynn and Roger Stone and Giuliani. These are the people who are coming to pay. And that's what's messed up about this. So the question mark, what do we need to be asking? Where can we go for more answers, or what do we need to be asking? Is this going to happen, right? And with the Eight of Cups, it's pretty cards. The feeling I'm getting from this card is the gig is up, and Trump's going to have to leave those pardons behind. The gig is up, and you know, every pardon he's going to give now is going to be looked at, reviewed for this fraud scheme. So this shows him leaving it all behind him. So I'm feeling like, you know, he might have been prepared to give all these pardons, but that he's just gonna leave them. Although, you know, now that I'm looking at this card, they are still standing up. These cups are full. Is the card saying, he don't give a crap, and he's just gonna pour all these pardons out before he leaves? That's the question. Is he gonna pardon and leave, or is he gonna leave the pardons behind? Well, with the exclamation point, what action needs to be taken here? We have Temperance, the card of moderation, of balance, of prudence, you know, being prudent and careful. So this would be a legal pardon, you know, going about it the right way, being temperate, making sure that you do what you need to do to make something balanced and fair. I'm going to get a clarifier on this, see if I can get a little more information, if he's leaving the pardons behind, or if he's going to grant those pardons before he goes. Spirit, can you give me some more information? Oh. Can you give me some more information on this card? Are those granted pardons, or is he leaving them behind? I think I'm getting he's leaving them behind, that these pardons were an illusion, or they're going to turn into illusion. And then I've got a Six of Pentacles, which is give and take of money. Take a money and a gift. Okay, let me just show you what I'm just trying to get a clarifier on this Eight of Cups. Okay, here's all the pardons. Here's Trump leaving. Is he granting those pardons or not? Okay, I'm getting a Knight of Wands, so we're going to get some news. I've got Six of Pentacles, give and take of money. All right, give and take of money. That's what this whole bribery scheme's about here. I've got the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups. Possible illusions and delusions. And then a Page of Cups, which I would see as a gift. You know, I feel like some of this money changed hands, okay? This bribery scheme was already underway. There's been some give and take of money, okay? I think that we might find that some money had been paid. That give and take happened. But I feel like a lot of those pardons were an illusion, or maybe these people were hopeful. Like, there's no guarantee, like, you pay this amount, you will get a pardon. It was more like, you pay this amount, Trump might think about it. Maybe he'll pardon you, maybe he won't. But if you pay this, you got a better shot, right? So I feel like there was still some illusions going on there. With the Page of Cups, this is a gift. This is a gift. So I would say he might still pardon somebody. He might still pardon someone maybe who got their money in. But I think there's a possibility. Okay, I think some people paid their money. I think a lot of people are going to be really disappointed that they don't get their pardon, okay? Trump is walking away from these cups here, so I want to say he's walking away from these pardons. He's not going to give them. But there is an Ace of Cups here. I'm sorry, Page of Cups here. Page of Cups. So I feel like somebody's going to get something. Somebody, at least one person's going to get something. Like maybe Giuliani, right? Like he might be the one that gets a pardon just because he was loyal to the very end or something like that. So I think at the very least, these people who threw their money after Trump trying to get these pardons, most of them are going to be disappointed. They'll find that pardon doesn't materialize for them. I think we'll find some money changed hands. Yeah, people paid. Sorry, you lost out. This whole scheme came out into the light. You're going to get screwed out of the pardon you probably gave some money for. But in the end, somebody's going to get something. Somebody's going to get something. And I'm just keep thinking Giuliani. All right, so that's what I'm getting for that pardon bribery thing. And I don't want to relay this video to last much longer, so I'm going to do super quick, and maybe I'll hit it again. Super quick. Will Trump attack Iran? Is this going to be his foot in Biden's ass out the door? Hey, let me attack Iran and let you deal with the consequences? All right, really quickly. So 3-card spread. Will Trump attack Iran? I gotta tell you, there's a part of me that really feels for that country. You know, I think we all know now how a bad leader or bad leadership can really hurt a people's. And I think that's happening to Iran. All right. Will Trump attack Iran? Will Trump attack Iran? Show me spirit. Will Trump attack Iran? Okay, so Ace of Cups. There's a lot of emotion around this, an overabundance of emotion, okay? And I think it's an overflowing cup of emotion. I'm definitely getting the sense of this is Iran, right? They just lost their head nuclear scientist. They're beside themselves. They're aggrieved. They're in mourning. This is them right now, just so much emotion. And keep in mind, was it Soleimani that was just assassinated not too long ago? So this is a second high-level assassination for Iran. Very important people for them. The nation's in mourning. They're aggrieved. They're angry. What have you. They're a mess. What's challenging this question of will Trump be talking on is the Seven of Pentacles. So this is money, family money, padding your nest, building your wealth. So somehow money is a challenge to this question. What would be the financial repercussions of attacking Iran, right? The outcome, though, with the Three of Hearts is heartbreak. Heartbreak, regret, just betrayal, just heart-wrenching sorrow, things like that. So will Trump attack them? So I definitely see the emotion, okay? I definitely see the emotion very tied to this. This is negative emotion here. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not seeing an attack here. I'm not seeing any attacks, any fighting cards, anything like that. I am seeing the Seven of Coins, which would be much closer to sanctions. So maybe, I'm asking about a physical attack here, like an act of war. This is indicating that it's possible that Trump might increase sanctions, okay? Increase the financial stress of the country. It's all about the money. So if he does attack Iran, it's going to be financially through sanctions and maybe not a direct physical attack, okay? And the outcome, sorrow, regret. Yeah. Okay. So I think maybe not, like I said, maybe not a direct attack, but look for sanctions or some financial manipulation of Iran. All right, that's about all I'm seeing there, but nothing physical. Okay, everybody, thank you again for being with me today. I really appreciate your views. Please like, please subscribe. I hope you'll come visit me again, and I'll see you all soon, okay? Take care, everybody.